confluence is when your tools, your technical analysis line up. And when I said I like to do all the technical analysis first and then put the indicators on, because if my TA says this is what I think is going to happen and I flash on the indicators and it all lines up, fuck yeah, I'm in. And the more those tools we have line up together to give you the same info, that's confluence.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to your daily fix. Let's fix together because it's safer. This is show number 79. What's the date today? May 1st. And one day away from our DGen giveaway. NFA, OFC here, as always. And this is, again, as always, not financial advice, of fucking course. There are some things to look over in the market today, in the money flow cycle, which is usually we check over to see where the money is moving in the market so we can make unstupid decisions, if that's an okay way to say it. So we'll check out the market cap, dominance, Bitcoin, and ETH. But let's talk to Senor Pope for a mo and see what he's doing. Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. The sun came out, and I'm pretty stoked to be talking to everybody on here.
It is a beautiful day today.
Mm-hmm. How are you feeling? You ready to take a look at this stuff?
I'm very curious. FOMO today, it was a whole big nothing burger, which I expected of just steady course. I don't think anybody was thinking outside otherwise. But in one of the trading groups I mentioned, it was kind of like everybody's sphincter was super tight. And worried about what everything is going on. And we said there was more pain coming. And there was, and there is. And how did the markets respond? Do you want to have a look?
Yeah, let's check out the money flow cycle.
All right. We wicked into the danger area today. And we said we really wanted to hold here, but it was probably unlikely with the way the micro bear bull indicator was looking. And most likely we would come down and settle in between the consolidation area of our warning red flag. And look where we ended up. Right at that 2 trillion. And on the 4-hour, I still see more pain. I'm not seeing a belly here yet. This was in response to the meeting, and then it was a quick pullback. And we really need to see this leveling out. And who knows where that is at the moment. I'll leave it where we had it originally. I'm not panicked. I'm still in all the trades. I haven't looked since yesterday. And the market is kind of doing what we thought it would do. And it's an interesting area. I'm going to be honest, wanting, the shakeouts are there. The down pressure is there. The beautiful entries are there. This is short-term pain, long-term gain. And if you're slightly underwater because of being in trades, these periods are always the hardest. If you're in capital, you don't want to catch falling knives and keep rebuying. And that's why I say I want to wait a bit. And you'll know as soon as I rebuy or sell any of these trades where I'm in, which we bought just before the Black Swan. We've re-entered once. We're going to re-enter again. I just don't think now is the time still. And I still think we have a little more pain. I'm not seeing enough confirmation to the upside. Now that's short term. I'm still very long-term bullish. And that's why I'm not panic selling. I'm questioning when we settle in here. We haven't settled in here.
We definitely bounced off that timeline. Sure.
I mean, I reset it to where we originally drew this.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, and 2 trillion, it's that round number, right? It's that psychology we've talked about before. And this is where typically it all goes to Bitcoin right now. You know, I really just want to kind of put that there because I think that's more realistic of how it's playing out. But I'm going to leave it where we drew it originally.
So now
So
when you're saying this stuff, obviously you're looking at all the money, like we talk about moving in the market. But as we go through and look through actually Bitcoin and ETH and then all of our trades, these indicators could look different,
totally.
right? And so we're going to kind of take this as confluence to some degree, right? And then we have to kind of keep going back and forth. But just because this says this doesn't mean that all tokens will say the same thing, I think.
No, and we were talking about that earlier, how it may be the time too to look at the more underperforming tokens, take that loss and put them into something that's better performing, so you're back into the positive faster. And the only reason I haven't done any of that yet is because I don't think we have enough data. And this is the patience part. And this is the part that took me forever to learn.
Oh,
So
were you all or nothing before?
in 6 days, well, just not all or nothing, but more just not having the patience to watch the ebbs and flows.
Right.
And then also not always following strategy to have capital on the sidelines for these kind of things, you know.
Yeah.
So
You
then
talk
when
about that's the
you don't,
discipline, right?
when you don't, you're trading with way more emotion and you're making way worse decisions. Whereas these are like, great, I know I already got great entries on these places. I can still stock up on better entries because I followed strategy. Now we've already done one extra time. And that's why I said I don't want to keep catching falling knives. I want to know the market has turned. And we don't have that yet. We may have that in the next 3-4 candles on the 4-hour time frame.
And this is why, and for everybody that's just watching, this is why we watch it at least daily, especially while we're doing these long-term trades. So yeah, that's sorry.
I was just gonna say on the weekly, we're still looking good. It's the
Mhm.
daily and the 4-hour that's trash. Now people will go, oh, we just had the most weekly reds consecutively in a while. Well, we haven't turned into a micro bear on the weekly. Having a healthy retracement after a massive up. We've been going up for almost 2 years. People forget that. This is our second major retracement in 2 years. So this is okay. It was just so slow in the first year, and people didn't notice. And I used to always argue. People called me crazy. At its peak, for the total market cap to its absolute low, we saw 369 and a half almost, roughly, leave the market. So to look actually how it handled and some of the trades is actually not that bad. It's been pretty good, especially compared to runs in the past. And if we go to where it is currently, we're at 317. So we've already had a good 50 billion basically come back. And these are the market movers. These are the people that are in, these are great entries. I'm in a few professional trading groups. The amount of trades that happened this morning between in here and in here, that these pro traders know when to buy and know when to get out, it was beautiful. For me, it's IRL and time at the moment. I know my bandwidth. I'm trading within it. We will eventually start to re-inject all this money. We talked about before, I see our market cap hitting 3.5 plus this bull run, hopefully 4. And if we get into those, we're going to laugh at these entries we got. You know, people wanted these entries 6-7 weeks ago because these are the same entries that we were having months ago. and we've already seen and played a lot of these tokens in our trading series to tremendous success. So I think it's been great because it's been neat to go, how do you, not everything's always up. There are downs. How do you manage downs? That's what determines you as a trader, is how you can play these downs and not lose your shit, financially and mentally. So dominance, right now we're going down in the total market cap this last 4 hours. We're about halfway through this candle. Makes sense with all the massive up we have. And then there's still a lot of uncertainty at the moment. And where that uncertainty is coming from, probably lackluster of the Asia ETF with Hong Kong, or China rather, sorry. And everybody panicking about the FOMOC. I expect to turn around the next few weeks, just like I've been saying for the last while. I said more pain was coming. More pain has been coming. I still believe the turnaround is in our near future. This is a good exercise that flushes out a lot of the sheeple, the chicken littles. I start to really assess, not even sell, but assess when we're under this 2 trillion. Because at that point now, we are already underwater in a good chunk of the trades. We don't need to go deeper, because in here it could get really dangerous. And IRL will be tapped up and I could get back to swing trading. Our dominance, remember when I said when dominance goes down, it's not always a good thing. And before, we had lines where I wanted dominance to go up. Dominance is going down because money left the market. Now, dominance went down also in some of these candles because a bunch was influxed into alts today, and then the profits were also taken. We need this to rocket up again to bring money into Bitcoin. We need Bitcoin to settle, and then we need the total market cap and the dominance, well, the total market cap to stay the same or increase, and then the dominance to drop. We're still in a Bitcoin cycle. Swinging alts here on the faster timeline is a game for pros. This is a really choppy market. It's a really difficult market to trade in, emotionally, especially. Not saying it can't be done. I would be doing it, like I said, if I had our IRL. But it's coming. And we just got on our dominance, we got an entry saying money is coming back into Bitcoin. We have an entry here. It looks like we were starting to cool off a bit after all this up and down. We just want to cool off in here and start making a proper curl. Bitcoin, critical, fired, starting to curl. So what we said was we would love it to hold this shaded area, which was the daily consolidation box minus the one extremity there. The majority of all the up and down has been in this shaded box, except for here. And then now here. And we said we wanted to hold it to show strength and turn. But we also said, worst case scenario, if it doesn't hold it, where's it going? We said it was coming down to here. That's cool. I mean, it's not, but. So Can it go lower? Well, it sure looks like it wants to. If we look at a technical analysis aspect, I'm going to actually just take our drawings down. We have 3 candles down, which typically means we start to go on a parallel channel. We should have the next candle would be a retest to turn around to the other upside, which would then give us a red out and a green in on the Bollinger Band, which would be an entry. But I always say at our indicators, our micro bear and our micro bull, that's the boss indicator. That's the one I never question. And it's looking like it's spreading down. It is holding right now weekly support. That gold line was from the weekly. We didn't draw the curve to here because I was picking numbers out of my ass, or, you know, my squiggles just felt like it. It was because it was weekly support. It's pulled up twice on wicks. It has to hold this to show strength. Because if it don't, well, our next daily recently is in here.
And that could just, I mean, that could just drop.
Oh, Bitcoin
Right?
will do what Bitcoin does when it wants to, and it can. You know, weekly is a lot stronger than daily.
That is true.
You know, and we are just brand new in this daily candle. People have, you know, new markets are about to wake up. People are going to breathe and see, okay, FOMOC wasn't the end of the world. Will that be enough to hold it to turn it around? Or where's our next daily? Let's zoom in, because we haven't marked it up.
And also, we're going to be getting to the weekend this weekend too, right? Obviously, so Wednesday, everybody else is on Thursday, Friday. And so I'm really curious what's going to happen this weekend.
And everybody just paid rent, you know, so this paycheck sucks for a lot of people. So just quick and dirty, just like we always do. I've just kind of split either the bodies and the wicks and see where that support and resistance is in the past. The last time we were in these areas was 21. So here we are now, holding a weekly with straight down. This makes sense to me. 56, 137.75 is a possibility.
And this is why I'm looking at this micro bear, micro bull, right? That's going to tell us so much of what's going on, especially when it's kind of curving and what line it will bounce around.
And it needs to show that curl. And that's why I said right now, everything always comes back to the total market cap. If the money comes in, everything turns around. Now, I mean, we haven't been down here in these areas lately since
Is that February?
February.
Yeah.
You know, so, and it was almost unheard of in January. So until we see this hold, we have more pain in here. You could probably catch some stinky wicks in the next few candles as an entry if you wanted to go long. But there is potential that we're going to stop down to these lines with downward pressure. And everybody's fear and panic right now. They might want to shake out some stop losses. It could be absolutely in that ball game. And that's why for me right now, when we talk about catching falling knives, I want to see a belly. I want to see a call. Remember, this was geopolitical events here. Right? This is actually our entry. We made a beautiful entry, got in, and then this was geopolitical, and it hasn't really rebounded since. And it's a good reason with all the events and everything. If you look at market manipulation, it's a great way to shake people out of the market right now. We have no indication yet for long-term bullish to be over. We can actually update this one now to there. Candle bot. So we still, if we have to update this, we still have all this possibility of area. And we know trying to get in now into that 6727 is going to be resistance on the upside. So if you're looking for a quick entry out anywhere around in this area until we get I don't know, I'd still wait for a curl, but we know our first major set of resistance for Bitcoin is going to be in here. To me, it's no brainer. Support, support, support. Didn't hold it here. This is going to become massive resistance, or it's going to be a nice, massive fucking rocket, and it's just going to go through it. I don't see that happening quite yet. I think chop is on the menu. These next few candles will be interesting. And if we get that curl and things start to all turn around, we have the indicators, the confluence that we started with that short. Once we have that, then I'm entering again. I'm accumulating again. But at the moment, I don't. ETH.
Don't tell me ETH hasn't had its day yet.
It hasn't had its day. It's starting to kind of play out. We only had one missed call since January.
Yeah,
with Ethereum.
No, I know, but remember, we just kind of been waiting for it. It's just slugging along, and I keep thinking it was going to be a little faster, but now I'm learning.
Bitcoin and ETH are always slow. There used to be two cycles, and we've talked about this before in the past. It used to go Bitcoin, then it would go ETH, and then it would go alts. And now it seems more like Bitcoin and ETH are kind of running together, or at least for the last bull run, and for a good chunk of this one, it's always just been like, always lagging behind a little bit.
Yeah.
But
consistent.
But it has been, and it's been following TA like a butte up until the Black Swan. And we said you'd probably get into this line, little stinky bit underneath. Still looks like you might be able to get an entry into ETH in here. It does look like these curls are wanting to happen. It does look like this consolidation is going to play out. And we called it in January, and we sold out up here in our Discord. Go back and you can check. This is when we got out of ETH.
You even have like little step up squiggles all through there. You're like, we're going to go here, here, here. You can even see.
Yeah. That's why I've been leaving them, even though it's so disgusting sometimes to look at. But for people that understand and know, we've had a lot of success with calling ETH this cycle. And I think right now you might catch these gross wicks in here, and it wants to turn. It's still saying price is coming lower and stochastic. It's not
when I'm looking at this also, as I look back, it looks like it can stop. It's going to stop at these little bits along the way, And so I think we'll have time to
maybe somewhere in there.
Yeah, but even further down, you know what I mean? I think, and by these times, the indicators will tell us more of what's going on. So at least to me, there's likelihood of it not dropping dramatically all at once, but kind of maybe booping its way down. That's a technical crypto term.
Love a good poopiness.
Boop.
Who doesn't? So that's the market flow. That's Bitcoin and Ethereum. Nothing overly surprising how we've been watching it. I'm really now looking for confirmation of stability. That's where I think we're missing in the market. And I don't mind a little more fear. The greed indicator I retweeted, I think it was Canada versus NFA, but we're at the lowest greed we've been in so long on the fear and greed index. And all that does every time that cranks back down is buy us more time. I want this bull run to last 15 to 16 more months. We need events like this to make that happen. And if you felt like you missed out over this last while, these are accumulation. This is where opportunities are. You know, I know a ton of big traders right now that are down 6 and 7 figures. They're not panic selling.
Yeah, this is the flow, baby.
You know, it sucks. Nobody predicts a black swan, but now how do you capitalize on it? And that's what we've been doing, luckily, with these trades.
Nice.
You like that? You like that?
Makes me happy.
We're underwater in a bunch, like a lot of other people in these situations. And what we've talked about with some of these trades is we've seen some respond, and we also are actually in profits in some of these trades, even with what's happened. Overall, probably down a bit with our dollar cost averaging, thanks to just a couple of tokens. But what we're going to look at is how over this next day and a half is how some of them have been responding to the markets, and does it make sense to roll some of that capital into the ones that are better responding and make up that difference faster with those ones. So I'm going to try and do this rapid fire because they're mostly all following the same thing, and a lot of the entries we've given previous are still looking pretty juicy entries. And then our usual suspects that have been lame are continuing to be lame. Our critical fears firing right now on 1 inch down here on that daily support, which we haven't been down to there since the first crash. And we had a nice recovery. That recovery there, if you took the profits, dollar cost average of the 2 entries to its absolute high was 8.84 cents. You know, but if we've been round tripping it, because these are longer trades like I have been, we're down right now. And we seem to be holding here, but look at this micro bear, micro bull. It's still freaking straight down. It's gross. That is indicating right now more pain to come for 1 inch. It's also indicating more pain for 1 inch right down here. So 1 inch will be and before I ever cancel a trade, I will go into CoinMarketCap and go, okay, what's going on? What happened? Was there some sort of news with that token that I missed? Is it just market sentiment? Is it panic? We don't know. This could be just a beautiful big double bottom and off we go again. Remember, all of these tokens in our trading series on the weekly are beautiful setups. It's how fast do we want to get our capital working for us, and where do we end up starting to cut our loss if it looks like it's just going down more. So 1 inch I'm going to keep my eye on. This is probably this and Avalanche without looking, because Avalanche has just been that one. We said we really wanted to see the curl and hold this consolidation box. Well, clearly we didn't. And we're still to the downward side. So this will be a little more research. That one hurts, not gonna lie. Aave, interesting that it got right back into this consolidation box from our entries before the second round. This was first round of bombs. This was second round of bombs. And then the recovery was beautiful. We were hoping to recover more, and then it's just been the downward pressure of the market starting to curl. We can see it. So there's a prime example of the difference of a micro bear and micro bull on two coins. We can see here that the lines are pointing this way. They're no longer pointing down. We had our critical fear fire. We have a Bollinger entry, and starting to curl. This is showing strength. If the next candle here holds within this, would be a good re-entry. Because if we compare it just to what we were looking at, you can see how this is not, these are pointing straight down. Trust your indicators. Well, trust our indicators. Long term,
if you're lucky enough to have them, of course.
All you gotta do is like say hello. So long term, still bullish, but it might make sense soon to either re-entry or cut when you start seeing things like this. Algorand slightly above profits because we've entered all the same amount at these. Actually, I think our lowest one was a little less here. I think it was $500 last year just because of the discount. But we can see here too, we have the curl. All this up. Man, how did I miss this today? Oh, I know. I don't know, right? 20 hours at 10% up. Because people saw this was value. People are selling because I've taught you just to stack 1% a day, how huge that is in a year.
Yeah, look at people taking those profits.
Yeah, holding here and going up, showing strength. Micro bear, higher than another micro bear, closing, strength. Higher lows. Higher lows. AVAX, this is the one I was talking about. Like we wanted it to hold here, didn't hold here. We even question mark, would it come down all the way to here? And it's even came down. Look at those bodies on our micro bull and landed right on these lines. And these lines were put here ages ago. All right. Getting into the belly, looking like wants to make a bullish cross and run. AVAX looking healthy. Avalanche way undervalued. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a massive pop. Cello, and we wanted it to hold this weekly support when we talked last. Didn't. Where is that? New bottom. But it's still, look at those wicks on these lines. So where is it right now? There's some support and resistance in this area. Healthy retracement after all that up. We'll be watching. Same thing. You can see it's bellied and it's plateauing versus the 1 inch that we looked at earlier. Look at that. Would it hold this is what we were questioning. The weekly support didn't. Critical, fired. Red out, green in, entry, belly, beauty. If you caught the absolute best of the best, which nobody does, but 15%, and we've got the curl. Look at that. Look at that. Ah! How did I miss that till now?
Ooh.
Look at our, I have that on. I probably shouldn't have that on, but our movement direction nailed it as well. Got the long and right to the line. we don't.
We don't get to see that indicator recently very much.
Not on this show often. I don't do it because it causes more confusion if people don't go through the modules to understand what it means.
Totally. Go through our modules, everyone. Come on now.
Right. And what do we always say? There's always going to be a red candle. We know we're going to have a little bit more pullback, and then it's going to go. We got the bullish cross. It's in a sell position.
It's pretty, classic. You get the cross, you get your retracement.
And then you enter, and it usually rips.
You do, and then you check your confluence at the bottom, and then you're good to go.
Dun, 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 dun.
And that takes the large squiggle question mark off of your tokens if you do that.
Look at that belly starting to relax. Same thing. Like I said, I've been seeing lots of my friends making some nice anywhere from 8 to 20% trades today, from buying prior to the FOMO to selling a few hours after, which is a great trading strategy if it's good news. If it's bad news and you entered prior, you're now dollar cost averaging. That's what I didn't want to gamble, because we've already done it twice prior to a black swan event. I mean, it's Murphy's Law for me right now, but looking healthy, looking like coming up to a retest. Really happy with how Phantom's been recovering. It's not on my nasty list, like 1 inch at the moment. Fetch. We're in profit from all our dollar cost entering to return up. Starting to show that belly, looking like it wants to make the cross and get up to these areas. Same thing, all of these on the weekly are beautiful trades. Happy with the strength that just shown today. Filecoin and 1 inch are my two nemesises right now. It is showing the belly. What a beautiful, and look at that bounce and hold on the daily. Remember, we put these lines in ages ago, right? And we're seeing a healthy retracement to continue to our entry. This might be a good entry spot. I'll be watching soon for Filecoin. Can you make a note of that, actually, Kate? Thank you.
No problem.
Rock. Hedera was, when we discussed it on the show, I even said, if you want, take profits, because it was up here after our entry down here. I said I'd be holding because these are all long-term trades, and just IRL not with it. We got the belly, and we're back to probably a little more in here. You'll probably see a little more wicks in this little lower area in here. It's showing a sell position. Lots of I mean, look at Jesus. This is my first time looking at charts today, if you can't tell. I mean, 22% in 8 hours. And that's textbook. Bollinger, entry. Just taking a support and resistance right there. Crazy. Love that shit. Look at that on Chainlink. Remember we said we'd need to be in this area to hold it, to curl, to go to the upside. Here's a red out, green in an entry. So you got a Bollinger Band entry here, got a Bollinger Band entry here. You got a stochastic entry there.
That's a sharp turn of the micro.
Well, I mean, same thing. Like, look at where that wick went down to.
That weekly, yeah, that's wild.
Just below the weekly, it's like it's squeezing out those stop losses. 10% in 8 hours.
Not bad at all, sir.
All right. But starting to show decent, not enough of a difference compared to some of our other tokens to have to re-entry. Looks like a decent bang. Same thing, we did a show where it was right up in here and said if you wanted to take profit from these 2 entries, nobody goes broke from taking profits. You know, it was a 17% in a week. If you did it, great. I know a few of our members in our group did.
Would you mind checking the distance between those 2 weekly lines? Just because I feel
These
like that.
2,
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
no mind.
Is it 17, 18? Yeah, cool.
17.6-ish, 17, 18, you know, quick and dirty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in these markets, there's always time to make money. We're looking at re-entries, but I also want to look at confirmation, and some of them now are starting to show on the 4-hour, but I still want to see that confirmation first before I look at tokens on here, and I don't have it here yet. And that's why I'm
belly and that curl.
wanting to jump into anything that looks exciting in alts, because if this don't curl and it goes back down to here, all these juicy entries that look like, oh, you know, right now could just go.
This is the teeter-totter room right now. It just seems like
Yeah.
everything's telling us more pain, but we can see the possibilities, right? And that's where you can get caught up about not trusting your indicators and your TA.
So we gave a few entries. We never ended up taking this. That's why we exited out. But we did give a few entries before geopolitical. This was second geopolitical to recover. And it looks like it's been fighting there. It was a nice, but also has the micro bull only on the 4, not the daily. So don't get overexcited on micro bulls. But still probably have a nice retracement to go. I'm not in it, full disclosure. All the other ones in. Telos. So this is what Kate and I talked about today, and what we've talked about the show a couple of times is we've had some beautiful entries, geopolitical, second geopolitical, and then look how it responded and how it's responding again. This is showing more strength than anything else we've seen. It's followed all the layouts that we've laid out for it to happen. So this might be something where, after I've done a little research on some of the coins that don't seem to be moving as to why, if there is any rhyme reason, where I might take those losses and put them in here for a faster recovery, because it's definitely already been showing all of that from day one over all of the other tokens at the moment, minus a couple. But and SNX followed our double bottom and then did not manage to break here, and then just with all the other news, it's crashed. Same thing, almost looking like it wants to curl here. Entry, entry, entry. Normally this is where I'd be bellying in, but just because of total market cap, this is where I want to wait. Boom.
Nailed it. Look at you. Look at
So
you friendly ape.
there's another primate on the internet with lasers coming out of his eyes, devil horns, giving not financial advice.
If I've seen it once, I've seen it 1,000 times.
Right.
So thank you for doing that. That was amazing. And then we're going to come back, you know, same ape time, same ape channel tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
7 PST, 80th show, bro.
We're going to have a giveaway tomorrow. So in tomorrow's show, there will be a repost, a retweet, a couple small conditions like follow us on Twitter. And after, we will get all the people that did that for tomorrow, and we will have another giveaway. It will be a physical. We will announce what that is tomorrow, just like we did on the 69 giveaway. And then we have 90 and 100. We already know the top prize, 100, is San. San Audio. It's about a $500 US pair of headphones, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And that's they're beautiful from all the reviews from professionals and just, Joe Blow that got on into the NFT project. The team is going to come on with us and talk about the project and say what it's all about. So that's for show 100. Show 80.
That's about a month away then, right? Approximately. Nice.
Sure.
Yeah.
And but for show 80, you're going to find out tomorrow, and then on Friday we will draw the winner from all the retweets of show 80. What we also have is a couple of our mods, Amir and Ryan. They crush it, and they do a show called The Crypto Junkies that we produce. And I'm going to end with a clip from there, unless you have anything else to say.
Well, I just want to say that is Sunday, 11 o'clock PST, correct?
11 a.m. Yeah.
11 a.m.
8 o'clock London time. And these guys have been killing it. Actually, Ryan just posted a microcap call in our Discord today that I think hit over 500%
That's
today.
wild.
So these guys slay it, and it's been fun. This year's been fun.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a great exercise to, keep your head cool.
Yeah, let's listen to that short. See what these guys have got to say.
Let's do it.
When you hit the microcap plays, you do want to make sure that you can take profits along the way. You don't want to be holding these coins all the way down back to your entry. The way I like to play is I like to play with small capital. I normally use like $150 to $200. I don't use too much capital with the microcap plays because you can always hit 10x on launch, or you can always hit a 20x on launch. Because AI is such a term that's being thrown about the hemisphere right now, you want to make sure that you're getting the right AI coins. A lot of people say that a coin is AI and it might not have some of the AI contingencies in there. You make sure that you do the right research for some of the coins that you are in.